Welcome everyone. Today we are doing something really big. We are getting the keys to Magic Kingdom. We want you to come along and join us. We're Brian and Sarah, and we are Orlando Park people.
So today, we're taking you along one of the coolest things that we have done at Walt Disney World so far in the 10 plus years that we've been coming to this park. The Keys to the Kingdom tour. If you're a Disney fan or a Disney history fan, the tour is absolutely incredible. It's a 5-hour walking tour, and it gives you a deep dive into the history and the storytelling and even some of the hidden infrastructure that keeps Magic Kingdom running. Quick heads up though, before we go any further, because there were parts of the tour that are backstage, Disney did not allow any photos or video recording during any part of the experience. So we couldn't record any of our actual tour for you. This is basically just a recap of our day, things that we learned along the way, and then we went back and took some footage after the tour of some of the areas of the park that we actually got to focus on. So we started the day walking down Main Street, USA. Our guide got to share the story of how Walt Disney quietly went around and bought up land in Florida using different shell companies so land prices wouldn't go crazy. And then we also learned how important Roy Disney was in making Walt's actual vision happen. And that's why you actually see Roy Disney and Minnie kind of sitting at the front of the park. And then as you go down Main Street towards the castle, you're going to then see Mickey and Walt. Their partnership, though, and their trust in one another really built that foundation for everything you see in the park today, and it was a really great story of just family and working together. Something I loved also learning about was all the Imagineers and the creative people who helped bring Walt's ideas to life, and there are lots of little nods to them all over Main Street, especially in the windows above the shops. And we actually got to stop and look at some of them and hear the stories behind the names. It's one of those details that most people are going to walk right past every single day and never notice. From there, we headed into Adventureland and made our way over to the Jungle Cruise. We actually talked about how the ride originally started as this very serious educational river journey, and it didn't have any jokes at all. And then that people actually kind of started to stop going on it, and then eventually it evolved into this pun-filled, skipper-led experience that everyone knows and loves today. We then got to ride the ride, and our guide pointed out so many interesting facts along the way. You really started to notice just how intentional absolutely everything is, even down to the smallest detail, to help keep you immersed in the environment that they want you to be in. Then we continued through Adventureland, and we went and learned the history of the Pirates of the Caribbean, and this ride changed too. It actually was originally supposed to be a walk-through attraction, kind of like a wax museum, and it eventually turned into the boat ride that we know today, and it was a really interesting hearing about how that change happened and how the storytelling then had to become more dynamic. Disney doesn't want you just to see something. They want you to fully feel pulled into the story using sound, movement, smells, and atmosphere. A big highlight of the day, actually for me too, was getting to go backstage and then see the parade floats up close. Seeing them outside of their show environment was really unreal. They are super massive and detailed, and it really makes you appreciate how much work goes into maintaining them. It was such a rare behind-the-scenes moment for me. It was a really good reminder of how huge the operation is behind the magic and how hard they work every single day to make sure that you never see any of that and that the magic kind of just keeps flowing and going. After that, we took a break for lunch at the Harbor House, which was included in our tour. Honestly, by that point, you had been walking for a few hours, so it was nice to kind of just sit down and take a little break. And honestly, the food was pretty good. We then got to explore Liberty Square, where everything is designed around the idea of community. She talked about how the architecture, the shared spaces, and even the specific tree centered in the land kind of is there to tell you a story of community. We wrapped up that section by getting to ride Haunted Mansion, and we learned all about all the different Easter eggs and design tricks that I probably guarantee most guests will never notice. And honestly, we had so much fun looking for some of the different things that she had pointed out and mentioned beforehand that the ride went by so quickly for us. And then the part came that I will absolutely never forget in my life, and that was going underground to the utilidors beneath Magic Kingdom. Walking through those tunnels where cast members get to move between the lands, you realized how much of the costuming and logistics and the daily operations all take place below the guests. Everything happens out of sight so that the illusion above ground never gets to break, and seeing that system in action was super neat. Overall, Brian and I had an amazing time at the Keys to the Kingdom tour. It is an absolute must if you are a Disney fan, especially if you love Disney history and storytelling. Seeing the backstage areas and hearing these stories and learning the reasoning behind the design choices really brought the park to life for me and gave me a whole new appreciation for Magic Kingdom. It really makes you realize how much thought and care goes into every single detail, even the ones that most people will never even notice. And honestly, if you go on this tour, you're never going to see the park the same way again.